So this is just another video. I was gonna run through and explain some cool stuff about me and my heritage. I Little known fact, my great grandfather fought in World War II. He was a veteran. He died of mustard gas exposure after the war. He got hit by a mustard gas bomb, and it affected his neurosystem and it made him like partially blind. Eventually he was just kind of like, like deteriorating and stuff. But I always heard stories from him, from my great grandmother and my grandma. They said he was a very, very stern human being, very sturdy. And back, I guess, when he was, on his last legs, sort of passing away, sort of thing, he had this one guy, I guess he was in a wheelchair, and he used to get angry at him and flick mashed potatoes at his face when they were at the dinner table. And it just got me thinking, like, it just kind of, old people, you gotta respect them. They're very, they've been through a lot. They've been very stressed out. They've seen a lot. They've intaked a lot of bullshit, to put it that way. And, growing up, I was kind of one of those kids that I was pretty sheltered, to be honest. I was a anime kid. I would sit around watching my cartoons all day, drawing my little pictures, a goth boy, like the way it is. And yeah, it just kind of it got me thinking, like, back when I was sort of living in the hood, I ended up getting myself into some rough situations. I've had guns pulled on me, I've had knives pulled on me. There's one situation, it was actually a friend of mine. We weren't enemies or anything, but he walked up to me one day after I got home, or back to the homeless shelter from work, and he pulled what I thought was a knife on me. He came at me with what looked like a switchblade. So I took my boots, because I had two legs at the time, and I put my boots together and caught his hand, kicked him back with the knife in his hand. Like, I caught the knife between my boots, kicked him back, stood up, and then I walked up to him, and I thought he was still coming at me. So I, like, if you've ever taken Taekwondo, they have this thing called a crescent kick. So I did a crescent kick and kicked the knife out of his hand, and I started kicking the knife away and ran up to him like, "Oh, what, you fucking want this? You want this?" And he told me, "Whoa, man, like, chill out, it's not a big deal, it's a fake knife." So I, like, looking at him, I, like, walked over to the knife, and I, like, touched it, poked it on the ground, and it turned out to be a fake knife. I was like, damn, man, you gotta be careful with that. You could really fuck somebody up. And things like that just got me thinking on my great-grandfather, where I was like, where do these problems come from? Where does it start? Something where somebody makes a mistake, and they think it's aggressive, and then something aggressive happens between two men. The hardest thing for a man to do to become the bigger man is to walk away, which is what we did by the end of it. I wasn't too happy with them, but, we went, had a beer, chilled out, that sort of thing. It's stressful. It's, the psychology of war is very confusing. The psychology of conflict is very troubling. It's one of those things. It just kind of gets to people. It's about, I guess, trying to comfort the enemy, trying to love and care for them if you can. It's something I learned as I progressed through life. You just kind of make the best of it. It could be that neighbor that you have that's just kind of giving you a dirty look, and you're like, damn, fool, I'm trying to do something, and then you walk away. You don't have to tell them what you're doing. You can always just mind your business and have a good time about it. It's one of those things. I think my great-grandfather would be pretty proud that I didn't take a fucking knife to the chest, or, getting a fucking noodle blasted. Things that are stressful. I think he'd be pretty happy that I didn't lose it on the guy and pulverize his face, turn it into fucking mashed potatoes or something. But, you learn from these things. Everything's a growing experience. When you can avoid conflict, you do that. When you can make things better, you do that. I guess as a young goth boy, I just don't want problems, People often think that goths are, kind of spooky or kind of out there. We are a little out there and spooky, but we aren't the type of out there and spooky to fuck you up. Because, if you run into somebody who's angry, let them be that way. They probably have something they have to work out. The alternative culture, you're always kind of, or not always, some people like myself are often secluded. They prefer to stay at home. do their own thing. They prefer to, I guess, I don't know, enjoy things like reading. Like right now, I blew through a Darren Shan book the other day. I read the whole thing just because I wanted to relive some, I guess, past books that I read. It was the Search de Freak by Darren Shan. I read the whole damn thing. I just sat back and took it in. Had a wonderful time. And I got my hands on The Vampire's Assistant, the sequel. I got my hands on that today. I went to the library, so... You know, people are like books. It's just about reading them.
Territory. Russians are retreating. Spectacular work out there.
We got a job to do.